Welcome back to another video. My name is Doliwhop and today we're going to be talking about a Pokemon fan's favorite topic, trees. I myself don't understand why Pokemon fans are so obsessed with them. It seems like with every new game, the first thing they talk about is the beauty of nature. I tend to lean more towards thinking about the upcoming stories and legendaries and starters and all that, but that's just me. I can't fault them for loving trees this much. Anyways, we're going to be going through the generations and ranking all the trees from worst to best. Let's get started with the Gen 1 tree. Now this is the tree that started it all, the first tree. Some would say that makes it a higher ranking one, but I disagree. Like its games, the trees have no color. Feels like someone left them unfinished, as if they woke up that morning and decided to wear their pajamas instead of getting ready to greet the day with a shower and a fresh set of clothes. The Gen 1 tree is the lazy man's tree, which is why this little guy is going into C tier. You still get a little gold star for being the original, which keeps you out of D tier. Next up is the Gen 2 tree. Now there's a fine looking pine. With various levels, they sure are a hoot to look at. Some are tall, some are small, and some are right in the middle. Variety is the spice of life, and these trees are paprika. Their dark green contrasts well against the brighter green of the grass, like a light at the end of the tunnel. Though if you folks at home see a light at the end of the tunnel, get out of the way. It's probably an oncoming train. What gives these friendly fellas a notable score isn't just looks alone, but you can headbutt them to help find some friends. The friends they give might not be the best, but what did you expect? Most of the Gen 2 Pokemon look cool, but are statistically garbage. That's why Numero Dos is going in B tier. Gen 3 is looking alright here. We switched up the color scheme and now the trees are brighter than the ground. These trees are some big ones, poofed out to the point I mistake them for full-on circles. And don't they just look prickly as the dickens? Like a cousin coming over for Thanksgiving who doesn't want to talk about what happened to their boyfriend they constantly talk about. It's because he dumped her. Still, they manage to function, unlike your grandpa who doesn't know where he is. Not because the Alzheimer's has finally taken him, but because he won't stop spiking his drinks. That's why these trees are going to be in B tier, below our friends in Gen 2. Now Gen 3 gave us remakes, which provided new trees to marvel at. Looky here, our friends from Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald made it their New Year's resolution to work out and they stuck to it, unlike you. They've slimmed up and look like proper trees now. Feels like a forest I can't get into, which is good because there's probably demons in there. As a congratulations for following through on their workout goals, they get a B tier, above the original Gen 3 trees, but below the Gen 2s, because you still can't headbutt them. And if Rams and 3-year-olds with balance issues have taught me anything, headbutting is a show of affection. Gen 4 is where we hang our hats, and golly, I am disappointed here. These trees have a nice color, even if they take on the swampier side. I prefer a little bit more vibrance in my trees, but that's just me. They've lost the prickliness of Gen 3, which tells me they backslid on their gym plan and can't stop stuffing Oreos in their mouth. That's why they look like their body is frowning. Rather than trees, they look like poopy sandcastles. You know the ones. You go to the beach and take that wet sand and dribble it slowly into a pile, making a poopy sandcastle. I hope you clean up your act, Gen 4 trees. That's why you go into C tier, below Gen 1. I don't want to completely fail them, because I know if they work hard, they can get back into it. It just requires a bit of tough love. Like Gen 3 before us, Gen 4 also has a remake, and that means brand new trees. And aren't these just the happiest little trees anyone's ever seen? They have the color, the vibrance, and the shape to be a top tier tree. This tree is like your best friend who always has your back, even when you're committing felonies. Everyone needs a tree that would commit felonies with you. Plus you can headbutt them, and Heracross is actually good now. That's why this tree is the top of S tier. Gen 5 hit us with a lot of different trees. These trees all had a different style under the seasonal mechanic. Aesthetically, they look nice. They do their job and feel like they've gotten their lives together. You can see the trunks showing off they've hit a bit of a growth spurt. They're no longer that 5'2" kid that used to get picked on. They've just made the varsity basketball team at a cool 6'5". Careful who you call ugly in middle school, folks. My only problem is that they feel a bit fickle. They keep changing, unable to really decide what they want to be. Like that one friend that keeps reinventing themselves based off Pinterest boards they find. For their inability to decide, it lowers them from an S to an A tier. Their full fall and winter looks, though, they get an S. Say what you will, but at least when they dress for their colder months, they know how to rock it. Now Gen 6 is a disappointment. The 3D camera doesn't do justice to these trees. Sure, they might have some more details, but they are also less abundant. Maybe all that timber the people of Kalos cut down could have been used to build a better game. If you spend a little more time on preserving nature instead of expensive outfits, you'd earn a higher score. But the XY trees get a straight D tier for me. Owen got a remake, and boy did they take a turn for the worst. These trees play it fast and loose. They're barely around, like they don't have to show up for work. They don't understand by not showing up it makes their other coworkers look bad. We don't have our friendly forest around us. We just have dark green areas. What am I supposed to do with that? It's like you put police tape around the area and it said I can't enter. Why not? I killed that guy, so that's my body you're investigating. Hypothetical crimes aside, Gen 6 overall suffers from its lack of proper nature. I guess it spent too much time making its games way too easy. Are the Eon duo paid in timber or something? That's another D tier. Below XY, cause I know from the original Hoenn region you knew what to do, but phoned it in anyways. Now, despite being on a native island, the trees on Alola aren't that abundant. They're there, but we don't have the massive walls like we used to. Tis the curse of 3D. However, unlike Gen 6, Gen 7 has some interesting little palm trees. They feel like a good friend. Like that one friend you can spend months not talking to, but when you chat them up, it feels like no time has passed. For that quality, I give them the top of C tier. Not the best, but they're trying. After Alola, we got Kanto again, and despite their horrible catching mechanic, they've done a good job. They took the bad green areas of Oraz and replaced them with some actual ledges. The trees are varied and pretty to look at, and we even have some little bushes. Groudon did a good job shaping this land up. For their improvements, they get a B tier, just below Gen 2, because despite looking pretty, the Let's Go games are still garbage. We're in the end game now, folks, and I've reached Gen 8. Look at this tree. I know many of you out there have strong opinions about it, but I'm here with something to say. Leave that poor tree alone. Look at him out there by his lonesome in the wild area. I don't think he looks out of place. I think his graphics fit right in. He's out there hustling, trying to provide for his family, earn his degree and complete his night classes, all while trying to complete his usual 10-hour shifts. That's some real work ethic, something a lot of you could learn from, if you weren't spending all your time on Twitter talking about nonsense. All that's to say, this hard-working man gets an A tier, just below the Gen 5 seasonal trees. Diamond and Pearl got some remakes and we're not going to spend long on them. The trees look great, too bad the games are garbage. D tier, above Oraz, but below XY. Finally, we've reached Gen 9 and we're going to strike while the iron's hot. The Scarlet and Violet trees aren't like those of the past. Depending on the area, they can vary wildly, just like you might have different friend groups for different things. They don't mix well, but that's okay. Your sports friends probably don't want to hang out with your theater friends. And why would they? Your theater friends are kind of weirdos. And don't get me started on the friends you made in prison. You have a hard time finding time to visit them anyways after you got out. Trying to get your other friends to interact with them is like trying to lead a horse to water and it has 4 broken legs. That's a long story short to say these are some pretty trees. S tier, below Heart Gold and Soul Silver, because you still can't headbutt them. That just leaves Legends Arceus, and these are the games that people hoot and holler about all the time. I've heard some say these are the best in the franchise. That must mean they've got some good looking trees, right? Take a look at that image. You know what I'm seeing? Some pathetic looking trees. This is beyond not getting dressed out of your PJs in the morning. You're barely covered up. What would your parents have to say about that? These trees take place in the most rural era of Pokemon, but can't be bothered to show up in a timely manner, well dressed. I don't care if you are related to the groom. You can't show up to the wedding in cargo shorts, flip-flops, and a tuxedo shirt. It doesn't make you look fun, Xander. It makes you look like a jerk. And that's what the Legends Arceus trees are. A bunch of jerks. That'll conclude our segment today. You might be asking, Dolly, why did you make this video? Well, because I haven't posted for a bit and I needed content to stall while I finished the first episode of my rewrite. That just goes to show you can make something in a day. Have a good day, folks, and I'll see you all later.